Franny here. Let's talk about the best game of the week, which has become a real rivalry between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever. Indiana was coming in with a four-game win streak, and Chicago Sky was bound and determined that they were going to stop Caitlin Clark from winning that game against them that they lost by one. But it wasn't to be because Chicago ended up beating by one. The game was very close at the half. Indiana was only up by 1 point, so it went back and forth, very closely contested. Two different ways that the coaches had to play this game. Indiana went from they would go inside sometimes, but their three-point shot was without a doubt working for them, so they went outside in, and then you had the Chicago Sky, who finally got that they needed to go inside out because they were totally missing. Their best three-point shooter was Mabry, and she has been having a terrible time lately. She was 1 for 10 from three-point area, so that's what helped Indiana in the third quarter. But I'll tell you, Angel Reese ended up putting her team on her back. That's how much she dislikes Caitlin Clark and that team. So she was bound and determined that she was going to continue with her winning ways. And kudos to Reese in the fact that she has now set a new rookie record with 8 consecutive double-doubles, which is kind of unheard of. I have a difficult time with Angel because of her attitude. She ended up getting in it with Smith from the other team, and they got a double technical, but I could tell that she was after it in the beginning of the game by mouthing off to several people, including Clark. And Clark, for her, kudos, gets not buying into it. But unfortunately, Smith did, and that hurt them as far as the double technical. I'd like to see Reese maybe talk to Kyrie Irving about maturing. I thought he did a great job in his game in the NBA when he said that, he was young when he made some mistakes when he played for Dallas, and they booed him every game back there. But he said he learned from his mistakes. I gave him a great kudos for just going up and shaking everybody's hand afterwards and showing that he had been a changed person. I think a lot of the players that come from tough backgrounds tend to get feisty and maybe a little bit more physical, and I don't mind that as much as I mind the mouth. So for me, as a coach, I'd like to see Angel get her motivation from someplace else rather than her mouth. Her skills are good enough that they should play for themselves, and she would understand that. But I think she's going to have a hard time unless she changes her ways in that regard. But and Caitlin Clark set a franchise record. She ended up with 17 points, 13 assists, which was the most assists for the franchise record. So I'm not sure she didn't get away with taking a shot at the end to give an assist when I think at the very end of the game she should have taken a shot to put them up. But they had their opportunities. It never comes down to one thing because it ends up being a desperation play then. But to theirs, they're just playing very well as a team, Indiana is, and so are the Sky. They finally put the team back in that they needed to in order to win, and the Sky has got really good inside strength. They need a couple three-point shooters is what they should recruit. And Indiana needs help with Boston. I mean, Boston's knocking their butt off trying to get as much as she can. And luckily, Smith has come around to assist her with getting some rebounds and stuff in there. But they got out-rebounded, I believe it was, 48 to 24, somewhere around there. And that killed them. So it came down to shooting at the end, and unfortunately, there were a few more fouls called against Indiana, and they went to the free throw line and hit their shots, and Reese really did a great job with Kennedy of pulling them through. Reese had 25 points, 16 rebounds. Again, that's a record for a rookie for their 8th consecutive game. Kennedy ended up with 23 points, and I really appreciate the game that she's been playing. She's Reese, Caitlin Clark got tangled up with, I believe it was Evans, and Kennedy stepped right in and didn't want anything to happen there. So I think she's really matured and kind of learned her lesson and going to let basketball skills talk for her. So, and then Cardosa had 16 points and 10 rebounds. So it was the rebounding that really ended up in the long run hurting the Indiana Fever. But both teams are coming together as teams, so it's going to be a big rivalry going throughout the years now, and should have some great basketball in those games, and be like a Bird and a Magic Johnson kind of rivalry. I hope it gets a little bit more friendly, however. So anyway, that was the best game of the week. Hope you will subscribe below to Franny Sports and Travel Corner, and know that I want you to have a great day. Take care.